What's your theory that you cannot prove but that you think would hold up if someone were to research it? Mine is easy. I think in the future, this will be recognized as a personality disorder. I don't mean using a smartphone. I mean the people who are stereotypically extremely online. Like right now, this just exists as an insult where we'll tell somebody to go touch grass. Or you'll have wellness influencers talking about doing a dopamine fast or things like that. But I think there are specific personality traits and habits and maladaptive behaviors that in the future we'll have a name for. So for example, I think one of the traits is a superstitious belief that if you look away from the screen, something terrible will happen. And I think that manifests itself in different ways. Like surely you've encountered people who seem to think that obsessively scrolling is a form of activism. That by obsessively reading about all of the terrible people and all of the terrible beliefs out there, that somehow keeps it in check. Or that by obsessively monitoring the lifestyles of higher status people will keep your status from falling. But it is just a superstition. There's no real connection between doing this and the outcome. And then I think all of that is exacerbated by the disruption of sleep patterns. My weird belief is that the disruption of sleep patterns explains a lot more of people's erratic behavior than anybody believes. I think a sleep-deprived person cannot regulate their emotions properly, and so they get angrier faster. They lose their frustration tolerance. I think a sense of impending doom is one of the effects, which, by the way, can be caused by all sorts of things, from physical conditions to some medications. I then think this creates a thought loop where people will obsessively go look up examples of people behaving badly to confirm that society is falling apart. And yes, I did write a book entirely about this, but I want to make something clear. One is not everybody is susceptible to this. I think of it as like gambling. There have always been gambling addicts, but with the explosion of sports betting apps, the number of people doing it and the severity of it have both skyrocketed. And two, it does not have to be somebody who looks like this, looking at this kind of a screen. Many of you have grandparents who stare at TV cable news for every waking minute and have the same symptoms. But I am not a doctor. This is just what I've observed.